200 million people once couldn't stop watching 6-second videos on one app. By January 2017, Twitter pulled the plug, and that app was gone for good. This is Vine, the app that beat Instagram at its own game, then vanished anyway. It started small. In June 2012, when 3 coders, Dom Hoffman, Russ used 6-second clips. Before Vine, in October 2012, Twitter bought Vine for a reported $30 million, before the app had even launched. On January 24, 2013, Vine launched free on the iPhone, and nothing on the App Store looked like it. Every clip, exactly 6 seconds, looping forever, no scrubbing, no skipping. By April 2013, Vine was the most downloaded free app in Apple's entire App Store. Android users got their turn in June 2013, and Vine's growth only accelerated. Then, on June 20, 2013, Instagram launched its own video feature, 15 seconds, aimed straight at Vine. Vine didn't blink. By 2015, it had climbed to roughly 200 million active users worldwide. It made stars out of nobodies. Zach King, Lele Pons, King Bach, Logan Paul, names the rest of the internet would soon have to learn. Vine had built the biggest stage in social media. But the people standing on that stage were about to ask for something Vine had never planned to give them. 1. In June 2012, 3 founders, Dom Hoffman, Rus Yusupov, and Colin Kroll, built an app that didn't have a single user yet. 2. 4 months later, before Vine had even launched to the public, Twitter bought it outright. 3. The reported price, roughly $30 million, for 6 seconds of looping video almost no one had seen. 4. Twitter wasn't buying a product. It was buying a bet on where video was headed next. In 12 months, an idea became a startup, an acquisition, a launch, and a rival's counterattack. 6. On January 24, 2013, Vine finally went live. Free, iOS only, every video capped at exactly 6 seconds. 7. Within 3 months, the bet looked like genius. 8. By April 2013, Vine was the single most downloaded free app in all of Apple's App Store. 9. Then, a much bigger company noticed exactly what Vine had built. 10. In June 2013, Vine finally landed on Android. The same month, Instagram struck back. 11. On June 20, 2013, Instagram launched its own video feature, more than twice as long as Vine's, and aimed straight at its audience. 12. Twitter now owned an app millions were downloading every week. 13. But it didn't own that gap between owning the app and owning the talent was about to become the deal that broke everything. On January 24, 2013, Vine launched as a free iPhone app promising something almost absurdly simple, 6 seconds of looping video. 3 months later, that simplicity paid off. Vine became the single most downloaded free app in Apple's entire App Store. By June 2013, Vine finally reached Android, throwing its doors open to a much bigger slice of the smartphone world. That very same month, Instagram struck back, launching its own 15-second video feature aimed straight at Vine. Twitter's leadership barely blinked. Twitter's reported $30 million bet was starting to look like genius. A global stage built on nothing but curiosity and 6 seconds of attention. The app kept climbing toward the roughly 200 million active users it would claim at its peak in 2015. Inside that growth, a new kind of celebrity was being born, 6 seconds at a time. Zach King bent reality with in-camera magic tricks that racked up millions of loops. Lele Pons, King Bach, and a teenager named Logan Paul turned 6-second clips into global fame. By 2014, those loops were shaping internet culture far beyond the app itself, quoted, remixed, and replayed everywhere. Millions watched every day for free on a platform that owned every second of the spotlight. But not one of those views put a single dollar into a creator's pocket. Vine had built an empire of stars it had never once paid, and that silence was about to cost the company everything. Vine's biggest asset was never the app itself. It was the 6-second stars it had created. Zach King, Lele Pons, King Bach, Logan Paul, Millions of people opened Vine every day for one reason: to watch them. And yet, the platform that made these creators famous had built no way to pay them. No ad revenue share, no creator fund, not $1. On Instagram and YouTube, creators with far smaller audiences were already signing brand deals and running ads. On Vine, fame paid an exposure, and nothing else. So in 2015, a group of Vine's biggest stars sat down across the table from the company and named their price. $1.2 million each, just to keep posting. Twitter said no. It wasn't even a counteroffer. The room simply couldn't find the money, or the will. The same company still riding a user base built on those creators' backs turned down the people who built it. One by one, the stars who defined Vine started uploading somewhere else instead. Vine's growth numbers still looked fine on a slide, but the talent that made the app worth opening was already walking out the door. Twitter had spent 3 years building an audience of 200 million people around creators it refused to invest in. Reason to never understood what it actually owned. That failure alone wouldn't kill Vine, but it started the clock. 1. Twitter walked away from the table and the deal died right there. 2. No revenue share, no contract, no plan to ever pay the people who made Vine worth watching. 3. So the stars did the only thing left to do. 4. They started leaving. 5. Zach King, Lily Pons, King Bach, Logan Paul. 6. The same creators Vine had turned into celebrities began pouring their energy into YouTube and Instagram instead. 7. Every one of them would go on to build their real careers somewhere else. 8. YouTube had been sharing ad revenue with creators since 2007, 8 years before Vine's biggest stars ever asked for $1. 9. Instagram didn't even need to write a check. 10. It already had more eyes on it than Vine had ever built. One by one, and their income to platforms that understood a simple rule: creators are not free labor. 12. Every departure stripped away a little more of what made Vine worth opening in the first place. 13. Vine had spent 3 years proving the world would watch 6-second videos. 14. It just never figured out how to keep the people who proved it. 15. Vine gave the internet its stars. It just never let them cash in. 16. The app that had once out-downloaded every other free app in the country was quietly losing its reason to exist. The vision was still to come. By the time Twitter pulled the plug, the creators were already gone. Twitter announced it would shut down the Vine app for good. Not because the audience vanished, because the talent had. In January 2017, the app went dark, replaced by a hollowed-out tool called Vine Camera. A camera app with no feed, no fame, no audience, just the shell of what once beat Instagram to 6 seconds of glory. The old Vines were locked into an online archive, a graveyard for videos nobody was paid to make. 2 years later, on December 16, 2018, co-founder Colin Kroll, who had gone on to build the trivia hit HQ Trivia, died at 34. In January 2000, a spiritual successor called Byte. It never found Vine's audience, because that audience... TikTok and Instagram Reels now run the format Vine pioneered, built on the backs of creators. Vine let walk away for free. Vine didn't lose a format war. It lost the people who made the format worth watching. The lesson every platform since has had to learn to show up. And somewhere, in a version of 2015 where Twitter wrote one check for $1.2 million a creator, Vine might still be the app you can't put down.